Warlocks. And the strength of it is he's running, well, exactly that one card, Mass Dispel, in the list. And that is precisely the card that has enabled him, I think, so far to beat Warlocks, as he just lets them flood with Void Lords, and then if he doesn't steal them outright, which he does very often, then he just Mass Dispels and goes through.
Yeah, this is one game that does tend to go quite a long time, because you don't do those early tempo plays. Usually you're more concentrated on finding out how to steal a Void Lord or how to kill them on turn 8 with a combo and setting that up. The early tempo is worth a lot less. The Cleric much more card draw engine than any sort of, quite often a 5/5 in other games. Interesting. Deathwing not particularly useful by the time you play it in this match, because you just generate a load of 1/3s for your opponent.
I mean, there might be a world where you Mass Dispel first, but I think Dustbreaker is just a superior card in general.
Which is also a little bit clunky here, because you blow up your own board, not theirs, but... And that was why people thought it might not be the broken card when it was released, that it is. One or two people were like, but it blows your own board up in the right tempo deck.
And then Zalay and anybody who actually understood card games said, no, you're wrong, it's actually broken.
Gonna draw one more card from this Doomsayer ping.
A play you don't see done by every single player, which is interesting because it's one of those little edges you can get. I expect anyone in the top 4 who gets here knows how to abuse the Doomsayers.
Yeah, it's a cheeky little play. I like it. And this is where the Dustbreaker just comes into its own already.
You know, you got to give credit to Priest for being fun in that way, and that there's so many little quirky things that you can do, especially in this combo Priest deck. With the Twilight Acolyte, I think it adds a dimension that you don't think about immediately. With the Void Ripper list especially, you start doing a lot of funky stuff. We saw Fluffy earlier with one of the most amazing combinations of theft and stat flips that I think I've ever witnessed in competitive Hearthstone.
Steal the stats so they stay there.
And it wasn't even a kill, it was just, I'm going to stabilize against this Druid, watch me.
And make myself a 2/4 that turns into a 5/4 somehow in the middle of the turn. With the
it was great watching that Fluffy play. Unfortunately, he didn't make it to the semifinals, that is. But nonetheless, really enjoyable to watch. And it looks like Posesi is on the plan to just make the biggest Radiant Elemental he can, because he needs to find that opportunity. If he doesn't seize it when it comes up, I mean, he still can't close out the game. He doesn't have the tools.
He might get them soon, though. It's a thing that can happen. If you keep making these big health minions, eventually you just kill them with one of them. But you've got to do it soon, because Scream does have a lot of stuff available now to work with. Not very coordinated stuff. It's like, pick this or this, not this working with this.
Right. Like Hellfire plus Doomsayer seem like the best options, even though that sounds absolutely janky. One of the reasons I say this is because that way you're setting up your Spellstone to finish off the Radiant Elemental in most cases. And you're also preventing the doubling of the health to be, 6 more. It's going to be 3 more. I mean, 3 less than that. So you're removing a sizable amount of health from the Radiant in many cases. You're just going to go for the Spellstone for 5 and set up the Defile, it seems like. It's the same idea, just mitigating the amount of health that this stacks.
So... is there a Geist in Scream's deck? Might be an important question right about now, do we know? Because this Crazed Alchemist can just be used to kill this off, but more importantly, he's getting close to just being able to one-turn hit his opponent at some point.
The problem for Posesi is he really wants to get the Mass Dispel off.
Yeah, I think you'd have to say the Mass Dispel.
I don't think you... I mean, it's tough because the Crazed Alchemist looks so gorgeous right now.
Yeah, he's
like for the kill. So if you don't get blown out of this board by Hellfire, you can technically make it happen. And you still have a 3/4. As long as you have something on the board, you'll be fine.
But you're not going to have much on the board. I feel that Scream uses a lot of removal. I know you've got a removal, but he seems to not meter it out very well at all sometimes. More bits and pieces coming together, just sneaking through so that if he gets any opportunity at all to go face, he can get it done. But without that Mass Dispel, it's hard to see how he'll get through.
But next turn, he's doing it. He's got the 3-6. It's a 12 health, then 24 health, then Crazed Alchemist, and that's game right there. So a taunt needs to come down to prevent that, but it needs to be a taunt that's also combined with some form of board clear for Scream. So he could defile into Tar Creeper here.
I mean, that keeps him alive. It feels kind of clunky. It doesn't get you very far, but sometimes you just have to do these things.
I mean, 6 is such a dangerous number at this point. Like, what you have to account for is, like, you're at 19, right? So the closest doubling up is going to be 20. So what you have to worry about is anything that goes up to 5 health, that goes to 10 and goes to 20 is what you're looking to counter here. So by negating the amount of health on this Drake or Dragon, he's able to also keep in check the amount of doubling up that can happen. No steal for Posesi at the moment.
And the Void Lord did come into hand last turn from Scream as well, so he does have that stabilization coming up.
You have to be worried, you know, like the Tar Creeper unfortunately cannot be messed with attack-wise. Like if you use the Twilight Acolyte on it, you can't Potion of Madness it. It's one of the few minions that it doesn't work up against, so you have to know it. But it's really important.
And he hasn't got a way to generate a board that sticks here against anything. But he's still not under any pressure. I mean, Scream will start making the pressure soon with Void Lord and Doom Guards and Gul'dans, but
I mean, Void Lord just kills you if you're Scream. Yeah. Void Lord is effectively suicide, right? The way you can use them is probably by just sacrificing them outright.
He can't do right now. Oh.
Scream not liking his position at all. I can't fault him, really.
Yeah,
you got to take a chance maybe on that Void Lord, because otherwise these minions are going to come through. The alternative is tap into attempted Hellfire to set up a board clear somehow.
You could also Doom Guard and just close your eyes and hope it all goes away.
Play the Ooze to also participate in the whole board clear process, but I think
I actually like the Doom Guard situation here.
I don't see anything else that really makes me
Doom Guard and
hopeful.
discard the right stuff.
And he's going to try to roadblock again, preventing the Potion of Madness shenanigans by copying the Tar Creeper, and plays the Ooze for maximum board extension.
Okay.
So this would have killed him.
Oh, he would have died.
So let's hope that Posesi knows the interaction with Twilight here and the Tar Creeper. Because that's a common mistake. I've seen it happen more often than I care to remember. Just makes the Tar Creeper 4-attack minion on their turn.
Yeah, he just makes it sillier.
I mean, you do get the 3-attack on your guy, but they also get the base attack of your Twilight Acolyte, because the Tar Creeper's attack is dynamic rather than static.
Right.
So it just sort of reapplies the buff over the base attack that you give them. Quirky things.
What was the card that used to do that? Light. The 5/5 Light Spawn?
Yes. Well, it still has that, right? The 4-mana 5/5.
Yeah, but people used to play it. Now there's better cards available. But
I remember,
people used to make so many mistakes with that card. Oh, I'll outdoor your 5/5, but it's still a 5/5.
The Duskbreaker can chip away at a lot of this boar's health.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because it blows up your own board to some extent as well. And he's so close to getting this done.
I feel like he's just waiting for the right time to go through. He's already used Mass Dispel, as we spoke of, so there's no opportunity to just cheat his way onto the board. He's going to have to do it as fairly as you might expect. The cube cannot be sacrificed. I feel like Scream has been setting this up. You know, copying the Tar Creeper tells me a bit about what his game plan is, and it looks like a Dark Pact on the cube is what he wants to do desperately. Or the Tar Creeper, that is, sorry.
I've never seen a cube locked down like this for so long. Just not able to do anything because of the threat of dying next turn every single turn.
That's the weakness of the deck versus Combo Priest.
Yeah, that's why Combo Priest became big.
Right, that's exactly right. Why it rose up in popularity. It's, oh, you're going to Void Lord me early? Well, thanks for the win.
Yeah, GG.
Which is why most of the time the Warlocks end up having to sacrifice their Void Lords right away in order to...
I'm going to cheat a 3/9 into play and then kill it.
And now we get the Doomguard being played. That's going to open up some trades, at least for Scream, and that's probably all he wants. There's not much else that he can do. As long as you keep the Tar Creepers alive, there can be no cheat.
He's doing a good job of this game, considering how quickly he's played some other games.
Potion of Madness can steal the 2-1, and now we can start trading into that other minion. The Duskbreaker with the Twilight Acolyte can flip.
Yeah, and kill the Tar Creeper and... Yeah, there you go.
That is going to close out the game. Posesi finds the win, inevitably finds the win against the Warlock, and that's going to make him the 3rd place in the event. I mean, that Jaina game was insane.
Yeah,
just going back to
that
the history of
we
the
saw
series.
Yogg-Saron, the Darkness. We saw a priest. Sorry, we saw a priest play Yogg-Saron, the